everybody. We are back from vacation. This is a brand new Parent Pivot podcast. Welcome
Hello.
to the Parent Pivot podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Julia.
And hey, we're here. It's Labor Day weekend, and I hope you all have had a good summer. We got to go visit the kids and the grandkids.
Yep.
Did some zip lining with down Niagara Falls, like we talked about.
Yep.
We survived that.
Yep.
And now we're bringing you some new content. We're looking forward to this fall and things. So we've been thinking about, hey, this is a time we like to be relevant, and this is a season when college kids are off. They've started school. College football season just started, so that lets me know that college kids are off at school, and there might be a new family, new parents that are trying to figure out how do we pivot.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we are. You may either be in the situation where your child just graduated from high school and they've gone off to college.
Right.
Or it could be that your graduated college student has moved on with life and are no longer under your roof or in college or whatever else is going on.
And maybe with all that going on, another new season transition is like, hey, they just got engaged.
Right. Started a new career.
I mean, there's all sorts of things going on.
Moved away.
Yep. They're not in the house anymore, and life is looking different. And I know we come every week, and we sometimes feel like we say the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But we also realize that y'all aren't listening to all the podcasts, starting with the first one on through. So sometimes on this end of the microphone, we've already said that. But really today, I have felt, been thinking about this since we've been on vacation, that, there's a couple of things that can really set the trajectory for the pivot if you're not aware of them. Right.
And back to your point about all of our podcasts, and you probably haven't listened to all of them or whatever.
Right.
A lot, even though we've talked about things so many times, it comes up over and over and over again, the same issues, because no matter how long you've been at this, you still may struggle with some of the same things that you've heard, and maybe you need to be reminded, or I mean, it's a hard thing to pivot.
It is. And I think this hits moms more than dads. We men are taught to be independent, not that women aren't. So please, I don't mean to offend you ladies out there and things, but it's kind of like men, we're not as super attached to usually to the kids, because you've birthed them. They've came out of your womb.
Yeah, moms, that nurturing piece of us, I think, makes it different. That's not 100% of the time, because it could very well be a dad is having a harder time than a mom.
So anyway, if you have and again, let me back up again. It can look different for a college age young adult son versus daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we just got back from California and Nevada because our three boys have hunkered down over there.
Yeah. They're not living near us.
They're not living near us. And this mama goes through occasional heart tears, I would call it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I want to be around my boys. And when we do get around with them, they're very sweet and they're very kind and they're very tender. But it's hard. It's hard on this end to still be mom and dad when your kids aren't living with you, because I guess what I want to talk about is control, expectations, and the new normal.
Yeah. I want to first talk about that boy and girl thing.
Okay, go for it.
So, because I'm going to contradict kind of what you said about being attached to kids, because I do believe if, let's say you've got a daughter who just went away to school, I think dad is going to struggle a little more with that protection and control piece.
True.
Moms may do it with both. But I know from watching you with our daughter that dads become super protective. And I have heard this over and over again of their daughters. You don't know where they are. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know who their friends are. And you worry about your little baby girl being out there in the world, and have they thought through the dangers of things. I remember back when Jamie Lynn was like 18, man, she got so mad because We just wanted her to tell us where she was. She was like, I'm 18. And then I remember once she went, I think she went on not a backpacking, but like a camping trip with a friend. And I remember you asking her questions about it because, okay, you're going to a campsite with one girlfriend, and how safe is that? And I remember you kind of struggling with that a little bit. And Jamie Lynn, again, getting really mad about it. So, you're going to face those things. And then I think mom is just used to nurturing and doing all the mom things and planning and perhaps making appointments and all the things that kind of keep the household running, so to speak. And again, you guys, I'm not trying to pigeonhole anyone. This is just statistics show this is more accurate. So I realize that your situation may be different. So, don't get mad. But I do think moms do more of that. And then moms struggle with losing that piece of them of, this is what I've been doing for the last 18 years, even more if they're leaving home later, or more if you have older kids or whatever. And this is your youngest going away. You've been doing this a long, long time. And suddenly you're being stripped of part of your identity.
And the other dynamic that enters into this is in our situation of our marriage, we're coming from different upbringings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could, like Julia had a really close family with her and her siblings. I did not. So now we get married, and it's like we're going to decide what is our family going to look like, and we're all pretty close and things. So now you've got a son or a daughter that's off to college or has just moved out and living on their own, and they may not even be in the same state. You're not in the same city. You're not seeing them. So again, I want to go back to talking about control, expectations, and the new normal.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that?
Yeah.
Well, mom and dad, we mention this over and over again, and there's some letting go that needs to happen. And I think, when they're off and they graduate from college and they decide they're not going to come back and live near you.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you? I mean, if you've got a regular rhythm of activities that happen and you're trying to communicate to that child and they're not responding, because guess why? They now have a life of their own.
Well, they're working full time.
They're
living on their own.
They have friends. They're dating. They're doing all. Does that mean that they don't love you?
No. Sometimes I can say as a mom, though, it feels that way.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
But it's not true. And I know you've had plenty of tears around that.
Yeah.
But your boys love you.
Yeah. And I know that in my head, but I hear you, moms. Like sometimes when you're not hearing from your kids, that's where you go to is something's not right. I'm going to lose the relationship. I'm not important anymore. I'm not sure I can bear it. And those are a lot of the thoughts that come into your head right. When you don't have that constant communication with your kids that you once had, or them needing you, which they once did.
Well, right. And especially if you still have kids at home. If you have a lifetime of, raising your kids and they all get different activities and you're going to watch them or you're doing family stuff together, whatever. And now all of a sudden one has launched and left the nest.
Yeah.
They're not able to come back and be a part of that.
Right. It shifts the whole dynamic of your whole family.
The whole family dynamic shifts. And that can strike fear in the heart of a mom.
Yeah.
Because now it's all of a sudden, what do I do? This isn't turning out like I thought it was going to. And we can out of that fear, we can make a correction to a thing where I now want to control that adult child that's not living in the house, going, hey, I need you home. We're doing this, we're doing that. And that adult child's like going, huh, what? I've got plans. I made plans for this weekend. I'm doing this, that, the other.
Right.
And then all of a sudden your expectations of the way you thought things were going to play out are not happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that can bring a lot of hurt and pain. And all of a sudden I feel less than, my child doesn't love me. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
They're doing exactly what we want them to do. They're launching from mom and dad.
Yeah.
They've just left the nest.
Yeah.
You still have some at home. So you've got one that you're dealing with that you're pivoting with to a partner, and you're dealing with them differently than you are the two that are at home. So all those things that you do normally, whether you're going to all their activities or things like that, that adult child is not there to do that. And that's okay.
And that can be true if you don't have any at home as well. I mean,
right.
It's the same no matter what. It's shifting the dynamics. And again, the boy-girl thing plays into this, that boys leave, girls stay closer. There's just so many dynamics.
Well, and there is.
And we could touch on.
And I think sometimes one pivoting parent to partner can be more in it. Maybe worries and fears and anxiety are driving the relationship. Sure. And the other partner ends up becoming a buffer.
Yeah.
Things. It's like, hey, mom, dad's being really weird about this, and or hey, dad, mom's pushing in and trying to, make me do things, and I've got, things going on, and it's okay. It's not like I love you anymore, but I've got my own life and things like that. But I mean, be honest with yourself and go, are these my expectations? Because we keep coming back to the fact of surrendering our kids to the Lord.
Yeah.
They don't belong to us. They share our DNA, but now they're going to become not colleagues and not contemporaries. You still have the mom and dad title, but not without the demanding piece.
Without the demanding.
Not with. I said not with the demanding piece.
Oh.
Without the demanding piece, because they're adults. We want them to think for their own. We want them when they are making career decisions, instead of living at home, they want to go do something else.
Yeah.
And then the next child you have wants to live at home. So you've got both going on.
Yeah.
And both of, there's no wrong, there's no right, there's no right, and there's no wrong. Some of us will sit there and say, well, this one's more wise than the other one. How do we know? How do we know which one's more wise? It has to all kind of play out.
And each of your kids has their journey before them, and it's going to look different for each of them. I mean, I've talked to a mom recently whose kids were all over the world, and it's just there is acceptance that needs to happen.
Yes.
And that's so hard when you are feeling lost, when you have expectations. Like Steve said, don't lean into the control part when those expectations aren't met. Have heartfelt conversations with your child. Let them know, this is really hard for me. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm learning.
Yep. Be open and vulnerable, because they'll understand.
Yes, be vulnerable. But let them know I'm not going to get it right. Let me know when I'm not getting it right. Give your adult child permission to tell you when you're not getting it right. Like, hey, mom, dad,
how am I coming across?
Yeah, this is something that I wish you wouldn't do. Like, let your child say that. This is a tough period of time, and it's a shift. This also happens when they get married. We've talked about this many times of you are going to have to change
everything. Yeah.
You need to encourage your adult child who's getting married to make plans with their spouse, not with you.
You're no longer the closest person in their life.
They need to make those decisions for their family unit and to figure out what is best for them.
And you know what? I think back to the wedding day for Jamie Lynn and Taylor. She gave me a nice little, I keep it in my shrine. I have a shrine in my closet. My kids and my wife laugh at me, but when my kids give me something, I've got a whole bunch of stuff in there, and I go in there, and it brings me smiles and joy. But she gave me something on their wedding day that said, "Daddy-o," that's her nickname for me.
Mm.
You were the first man that I loved, forever loved, and now Taylor has stepped in. I'm not jealous of that, but she acknowledged the fact that I showed her what a man looks like and how he loves. And the same goes for moms. I mean, sons will say, "Mom, you're the first woman I ever loved." That will always be there. Hold on to that. But if you try to push and control and manipulate and do things because you're feeling insecure
or you're hurting,
I would say stop. I think of Bob Newhart. Just stop it.
Look that up on YouTube.
Look that up and you just Google Bob Newhart. Stop it. It will fracture the relationship, and the very thing that you're seeking more of will become less of.
Yeah.
You're wanting more relationship, more communication. We need to accept what is the new normal. We may end up grieving what we used to have, but this is a new season. It's not a new season to be sad. It's a new season this is a new season of, this is great. A new member of the family, if it's a marriage, is coming into the family. Now you've got another family that you've got things going on.
Right.
And oh my gosh, when it comes to weddings, I remember, the weddings that we had going on, some people want a small wedding, some want a large wedding. Guess what? The mother of the bride, correct me if I'm wrong, the mother of the bride, that is not necessarily more important, but they're the ones, it's their party.
Right. The parents of the bride and the bride and groom, it's their day.
It's their day. It's their party. As groom parents, which we did 3 times.
Yeah.
We're there to step in and saying, hey, we get to host if you do a traditional one, we're hosting the
rehearsal dinner.
There we go. But if I want more people invited and they can't afford, the other family can't afford it, I could say, hey, we would love to help. And if the bride and groom say, nope, we want a small wedding, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it's not about you. We keep coming back to keep your mouth shut. We've got a book here where one of the chapters is zip it. Zip it. I mean, there's all these yabbit, but go behind closed doors and do your yabbits with your spouse.
Yeah. And then be above it. One thing I want to encourage too is, your child and their heart. What makes them tick probably, their gifts, talents, beauty, all of those things about them. So go into this believing the best about them, because when our fear takes over, we stop believing the best. All we see is our fear and our emotions, and that can take over where we are no longer being logical or fair or, we've lost all positivity to be able to see our adult child for who they are. So if you have raised a wonderful child who all of a sudden is saying, hey, I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm going to be a little more independent. I've got this boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm going to go have a holiday with them because we're serious. I'm going to go live in a different city, state, because this is where I'm going to now be working. All of those things. Gosh, praise them for that.
Amen.
Like, just acknowledge that. Let them know you're sad about it. Like, I'm really going to miss you, but let them soar. Let them do their life.
Yeah.
And actually, the more you do that, the more they will want to come to you when those times are right to come to you. Right. It doesn't mean it's going to look the way that you planned or thought it would be.
Again, expectations, you got to take them and put them on the altar. Okay. This is not about you. It's about them. The other thing that can happen too is we can catastrophize anything we want in our head and create a narrative in the absence of communication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've done it. You've done it. And I know all of you listening have done it. And so we catastrophize. I'm like going, something has sparked our heart and going, this is now going to happen because I see this happening. So I'm going to do everything I can to stop that from happening. And I've put somebody in a box and said, if I don't get involved in their life and stop this, life is going to be miserable for me and I won't be at peace.
Right. Or you are worried about your child and you won't be at peace because your worry for your adult child has taken over, that they are on a trajectory that you don't agree with or you don't want. They are just doing different things
Right.
than you would have chosen.
Right.
And so again, it's always comes back to fear. It always
Yes.
comes back to, what am I afraid of? Am I doing the what ifs? Am I doing the yeah buts that you
Yeah.
talked about? All of those things. Please be honest with yourself. If you can't look in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself about what's really getting you inside, you're in danger of harming that
Yeah.
relationship that you want so desperately.
And if you're an advanced pivoter, and you think you're doing really well, then you're at that level where you can ask your adult children, no matter what their age is, hey, how am I coming across? Do you experience me as being overly controlling? Do you feel like I have expectations and that you have to meet them? Because here's the thing, controlling and expectations create tension.
Mm.
Let me ask you this question. How many of you out there love tension? Raise your hand.
Mm.
I don't think any of us do. What do we want to do when there's tension?
I want to run.
We want to go the other way. We are going to avoid tension, and control and expectations cause tension. And the very thing that you're wanting more closeness and more communication and everything else, because that's the way in your mind you think things are going to end up. You're going to actually cause. You have more chance of causing what you are fearful of than if you didn't have control and expectations.
Yeah.
Because no one loves tension and things. When there's tension, it's like, you know what? I can imagine. It's like, we're not going over to your mom and dad's because, there's just too much tension there. I don't like sitting there, or we don't hear them, or things like that. And we're sitting down with couples and friends and trying to help them navigate those kind of conversations where there has been tension.
Yeah.
And our first thing we point to is go and own what you've said or done.
Yeah.
And own it so that they see that you're human, because they see it and you're the one that is choosing not to see it. The moment you start doing that, you have now invited relationship back into your life.
Right. The other thing to be aware of in these scenarios, because we've put a lot of them out there, is always coming with an agenda. So let's say you have an adult child who isn't meeting some kind of expectation. And so you go, I'm going to go and invite them to lunch or dinner, or I'm going to go visit them wherever it is they're living. And you've got in your mind, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to have a face-to-face with them, and I'm going to tell them what they're doing wrong and why and how it needs to be different and yada, yada, yada.
Or maybe you're going to fish for information.
Yeah. And then the next time you want to get together, your adult child is finding reasons not to, because it's like, oh, mom or dad always comes with an agenda. They always have something. They're only getting together with me because they want to tell me what they want, or what I'm doing wrong, or how it needs to be, or how I'm hurting them,
right,
or whatever it is. So you guys, we try to drive this home so much, is these are relationship killers. These are things that are not going to end well for you. So please, please don't do them.
Exactly.
That's my plea.
There we go. And so we want to help you. If you go to Amazon, our book is there, The Parent Pivot, 13 Principles for Building Stronger Relationships with Your Adult Children. We'll give you some tools to be able to build those things and not focus on your own fear. In fact, remember this, fear does not come from God. So if you're experiencing fear, anxiety, and worry, I've learned that I just need to stop and going, what's going on in my heart right now? What is causing this to stir up? Oh, okay, it's this. Okay. Being a pivoter to a partner, I need to keep my mouth shut and going, Father, what's going on? What do you want me to know? And that's all about myself, not about my adult child.
Right.
What do you want me to know about me and my heart right now? Oh, I see where this is coming from. This is coming from my family of origin, or this is coming from extended family that I know, and it sparked me to go sideways here, and now I'm projecting that on my kids. Mm-hmm. And things. So hit that pause button. I think that was our very first podcast. Go back to podcast number 1. In fact, we just re-aired it recently as the best of. It's one of the more popular podcasts. Hitting that pause button before you act and do anything, before you make that phone call, before you make that text message, before you do something that is gonna fracture a relationship. Again, control expectations. This is a new season. We're going to grieve it, but those controlling expectations equals tension.
Yeah.
We don't want tension in our relationships with our adult kids. We want you all to experience healthy relationships. Go to Amazon. These are real cheap. I think they're only going for $10 and things. And
we're not making any money.
And we're making zero money off it. Still haven't seen a dime, and I really don't care if we do see a dime.
Yeah.
I think so. What else?
I really don't have much else. I feel like we've driven the point home, and I hope y'all are listening. I know this is a difficult time. We feel your pain. We've been there. In many ways, we're still there. So we're just here to encourage you. That is the whole purpose of this podcast, is so you know that there are others that are struggling like you, that you know that if nobody else is around, you hear us talking, and we're doing it in real time, and we will always be raw and authentic about all of that.
Yep. As we close, I do want to put in a plug. If you have grandkids out there and things, these adult-child relationships are what help us have more intentional impact with our grandchildren.
Yeah.
And coming up in March, I'll put a link in our show notes here, which means if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be down below. If you're listening on a podcast platform, just read it there. But I want to connect you to, we got connected to the Legacy Coalition. We went to the Grandparenting Summit this last February, and oh my goodness.
And we connected through our podcast.
Through our podcast.
Through having Wayne Rice.
Wayne Rice was on, and he's on staff there.
Yeah.
And so we found out, we really loved it. We did a breakout session. We were an exhibitor, and we've been just enthralled with what they're doing and just how it's growing, and how churches, when you think about churches, even at our church where we were at for 30 years, as you got older, there was the senior adults.
Yeah.
And the senior adults were like the old fogies and, stuff like that, the gray hair, the white hair, and they took forever to get out of the parking lot and get into church. And, you name it. And in the senior adults, there was really nothing planned for them other than to have potlucks together and sit around and talk.
There wasn't a lot going on. I mean, of course, we weren't seniors at the time, so
no,
they really weren't paying.
But I mean, I think the mentality is, even in Christian churches, I'm not saying this happens everywhere, but the thing is, hey, you're supposed to get old, retire, and wait around to die, play some golf, go travel, talk to friends and whatever. But what we found with the Legacy Coalition is like, hey, this is now an intentional time of grandparenting. We're just getting into it. We've got five
and almost six.
6 should be coming later this month. So push, Chelsea, push, go girl. But all we're saying is you might want to check it out. We'd love to see you there. I'm going to be there. You're not going to be there.
I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be elsewhere.
We'll talk about that later. But anyway, I would highly recommend you at least visiting the website, checking out the Grandparenting Summit in March of 2026. It'll be in Dallas, Texas. And
totally worth your time if you're a grandparent.
Oh my goodness.
You won't be sorry.
Yeah.
It's not a bunch of old fogies going and getting together. It is.
Are we old fogies? If you're looking at us and thinking we're old fogies, we are not old fogies. In fact, grandparents start in the late 40s all the way up to whatever. But there's a new generation of grandparents who want to do more and have healthy relationships with their grandchildren.
And have a legacy.
And have a legacy and stuff. So we're here to help with those relationships with the adult kids. The Legacy Coalition's there to help with relationships with the grandkids. So check that out. And we're on all the social media platforms. Keep my daughter busy, please. Send us direct messages, like us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Everything's at Parent Pivot Podcast. And even our email is parentpivotpodcast@gmail.com. And we're back with new content every week now. I don't think we're going to be on vacation anytime soon.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think we're here.
Yeah. So tell us what's going on. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Hey, we've got this situation going on. We're always here to help. We get a lot of emails from our listeners. So please don't hesitate. We love that. We'll be sitting around watching TV and say, hey, we just got an email from a listener in Florida and or in somewhere else.
Yeah. And please send us your thoughts and ideas, like something you would like us to talk about. We would love to do that for you. So
we would.
Please.
We do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Until we see you next week, next Tuesday, we will have some more new content and help you pivot from being a parent to a partner. Thanks for joining us on the Parent Pivot Podcast.